Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others.
Tonight's red-hot video, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirming the intelligence community has found more documents related to the politicization of the government surrounding the 2020 election. Gabbard also mentioning the damage done by people like James Clapper and John Brennan when it comes to the 2016 Russian collusion hoax. This comes as reports say the DOJ is investigating whether ex-FBI officials mishandled classified documents related to the Russia case found at the Bureau's headquarters. So finally, we have some grand jury investigation here. I'm curious if anyone thinks, Chris, you brought this up, the not indicting the sandwich guy, right? And that we have a grand jury in D.C.
Sandwich guy.
Does that matter? Does venue matter for what we're looking at here and what's going to be presented to them?
100%.
I think 200%.
Yeah, choosing the location for your grand jury is where the Krupniks start stacking the deck. And when you impanel a grand jury in Washington, D.C., again, you've got videotape of a man coming up to federal law enforcement and confronting him verbally and then hurling a sandwich from 2 feet away and running away in a pink Izod shirt with the collar turned up and flip-flops and being arrested. And the grand jury is presented with the video and the law, which is obviously an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. And the grand jury in D.C. says, nah. And you can expect to see that over and over and over again when it comes to the corruption in Washington. They've impaneled a grand jury of Democrats who, I'm sorry to say, can be relied upon to be corrupt. And that's why the Democrats love their grand juries.
These people live in D.C. This is the National Guard that Trump is saying it's going to protect the people in D.C. So I guess they don't want protection.
Okay,
well, this wasn't even guard. This was federal law enforcement.
This is going to be federal law enforcement. This is going to involve Trump, which obviously, is polarizing for Democrats. I also saw Gabbard used language like treasonous conspiracy, which is like, to me, she must think that there is something really, really heavy here for her to use that type of language.
Right.
So Mercy, do you think does it matter what she has at this point?
It does matter. It does matter because apparently we've seen that Kash Patel, FBI director, he's sending these documents over to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Now, I know you cover the House more than the Senate, Foldy, because the House is more interesting.
It is more interesting.
But the reality will be, what will Senator Chuck Grassley do with these documents, right? Will there be a hearing
hard drives
from there? And so the question, because we know the Senate moves really slowly, as Daniel Lippman knows as well, are they going to be able to say, we have enough here to indict, go after Brennan, go after Clapper? What is this?
You just have to wonder about
this process is going to take a lot longer than people think.
Well, you also have to wonder about the relitigating 2016 and 2020. You would think that there are no foreign threats that the Office of Director of National Intelligence has to worry about, that the Trump administration
doing a pretty good job. They're doing a pretty good job with our foreign threats.
They're firing the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency because they don't like a report that his staff wrote about the Iran attack.
All enemies, foreign and domestic.
I think that this is an administration that can walk and chew gum. I know Daniel is a fan of biking and chewing gum. I'm not a fan of bike lanes, as we've long established here. And honestly, what I think you're seeing here is that Tulsi Gabbard, there was a movie that I watched a couple months ago called Thunderbolts or something like that, where Julie Louis-Dreyfus clearly is Tulsi Gabbard as the director of CIA. But Tulsi Gabbard is actually the good guy, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus, spoiler alert, was not the good guy in that movie. They can do more things than one. You're seeing the DNI's office root out, like they are reforming the entire thing so drastically to make it actually do the job that it's supposed to do, not to do DEI. That was the first thing she abolished on day one. We don't need DEI in our DNI. That seems fairly straightforward.
Can I also say that around D.C., Democrats have put up posters, larger-than-life posters of the sandwich-throwing guy, and they've made him a hero. There are rows of posters against walls.
I do want to say something real quick. On the burn bags, seriously, those are around
Isn't the point of a burn bag to burn it? I don't understand.
They put them in safes, safes.
Honestly, Mercy, if our intelligence community is too stupid to burn bags that are called burn bags that you're supposed to burn, I think we have a lot more reform.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.